There's no surprise, but it's going to be a Snake-Yoshi matchup. That's going to be very interesting for me because I've definitely seen this enough in Maryland, and I'm very excited to see what happens here. We don't have a whole lot of Yoshis left, but Melon, I'm sure, is going to be bringing a lot of good stuff to the table. Probably some eggs and not just melons.
A couple people in Long Island were just like, oh man, maybe I'll move to Maryland now. All of the Yoshis belong to Long Island, of course, known as Yoshi's Island.
Right.
And you know, the thing with Yoshi is that we're seeing so many more learn how to keep active pressure going higher because of the recent successes of Yoshidora in public. Because his success was always there, but with all these tournaments that started showing up more, people realized, wait, Yoshidora is insane, and also ended up recently on that top 10.
Yeah, I mean, all benefited by getting an added spotlight into other regions and other countries, and now we're seeing that effect here on the States as well. I mean, Melon doing a great job keeping this even, and you can't lose to the passive damage that Snake offers, right? You gotta find a way to keep it even, and he is.
This is one of the characters that can actually pressure Snake at disadvantage too, because Snake does not enjoy people chasing him heavy in the skies. And Yoshi's one of them, says, I'll meet you up here. I'll meet you up here every day of the week. If you want to trade with me, that's cool. I'm not dying early either. The main kill option is going to be that up tilt, which ApolloKage is trying to set up right now, and Melon just like, no.
Right, but you know it's going to be a matter of time before we can get to a potential guaranteed kill. 160 means that if you get down throw, you are basically dead. I mean, Yoshi's a little heavier, so maybe a little past that. We're not going to need it after all. Yo, we're actually going to get him with it.
He ejected from the Matrix on that one. He got pulled the plug on from that Nair. He exploded so fast. That could have been death 100% if that hitbox extension fair came to that, because that will kill you at like 20.
Right. All right, looking for a clutch down B. We're going to get it there. Trying to create some of the explosive pressure and getting around. Snake with a great burst option in that dash attack. You're able to create the space and then break that zone simultaneously with that tool.
It looks like ApolloKage is starting to catch on to not only some of these jumps, but just the routes Melon wants to take, period. Because he has racked up a lot more damage. He's preemptively calling out where he's going. It's not just reads, but he understands exactly where he wants to go right now.
Yeah, it's a roll for a roll, and ApolloKage, knowing that those escape options are on the table, got to find a way to space out. You can't get caught by the tongue, but you got to throw out the feet.
For anybody curious for that forward smash, by the way, that is this the Fools player Yoshi who is going to mash down B on me right now, forward smash. And we have learned Melon's got baited because that forward smash hit the C4 the whole time. He's like, I was safe over here. No, you weren't.
Yeah, just the lack of blowing up the C4 makes you forget, oh, maybe it wasn't there after all. He could have just killed me at any time. Definitely, but that wouldn't have been as fun as killing you right now there.
you said the game's not over yet? There.
Like, oh, I totally forgot about C4. You can never, ever, ever forget about C4, especially if it's on a lighter stage like this. You got to keep an eye out.
Well, one of the things that has always frightened me so much about ApolloKage's gameplay too is something I saw way back at Smash Gun Fall Fest, and it kept going. He will not only constantly make sure C4 is active, but if you are holding shield all the time on a platform, he will short hop up there and almost command grab you, if you will, by sticking you with that C4. Some will do it, but he does it all the time. And now all of a sudden, that shielding or air dodge option has disappeared because he got a free C4 on you.
All right, so we're taking it to Town and City. We're not going to die off the top just yet because of the higher ceilings. Even on that platform, ApolloKage trying to get every little ounce of percent he can get. And we are going to force that out. A nice air dodge forced out by ApolloKage. We're going to get that pressure, and unfortunately, it's a stock loss for Melon.
That was an assist to death right there. Very well done. Again, option coverage for days. If you can scare Yoshi out of his favorite option, jumping, then you're great. That down air, he already got hit because of that Nikita, and he had no other choice.
Exactly. I mean, he's one of the few characters that has to use that resource better than most. That jump is so important for Melon. He's got to keep a close eye on where he's using it. ApolloKage getting some good pressure here, but with these platforms on the side, I wonder, what's the edge guard looking like?
It's been Nairs galore over and over again. It's so active. It's been working so well. He decides to mix it up with the back air that time, looking for Nair one up tilt. But at this point, ApolloKage is just playing the patient game. It's like, now I have such a large lead, you're forced to approach. Yoshi is not afraid to approach because he's got plenty of options to get big combo starters, but ApolloKage is putting up that wall saying it's not going to be safe for you no matter what you choose.
Okay, trying to get something here. A good parry from ApolloKage. You saw the first hit shield, and I thought maybe Apollo was going to start swinging, but instead he gets another hit, this time a parry, and then bursts out of shield with a great option. We are still taking the first stock. Melon, I mean, I like it. We still have some gas in the tank.
Yeah, never count out Yoshi at any point, because Yoshi can quickly zero to death you off of one good trick. One of the few characters that can't avoid that is the fact that that frame one grenade will stop those true, non-true combos, because they're not perfectly frame linked at one. So he's going to be able to get away from those.
It's especially hard for Yoshi because a lot of those great aerial tools are multi-hits, right? And you're going to maybe hit 1 or 2 hits of that multi-hit, but then grenade blows up and you take extra damage.
Yep.
And at that point, ApolloKage already has the lead. He can literally just use that passive damage and wait, and you will damage yourself by approaching.
And I'm also very curious as to who, as this match comes to a close, if Melons is able to make an adjustments or not. We'll find out in a second. But I remember ApolloKage saying that he wanted to practice against DDDs this weekend. I'm wondering who's in his bracket path that would do that. My first thought was Ling, maybe, as Abtel's going to go take it out. But ApolloKage looking primed and ready for any matchup. Doesn't matter who it's going to be. ApolloKage is one of those players who has all the confidence in the world and is one of my favorite people to drive. But here's the thing. Everybody, and I mean everybody, eventually runs into some form of burnout, maybe a slump if you will, and he's still performing very well. But he's gotten into that position lately where he's like, man, am I doing enough? Do I have to work harder? Do I need a break? And he's talking about taking a break. I'm glad today I saw him smiling up there just as this started, and he looked like he was primed and ready to play strong. I want to see that all the way through, because ApolloKage is one of the biggest threats to make it very far and get a lot of upsets and maybe even take the whole thing.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I think it really started at Fall Fest last year, or the other 2 years ago, right? It felt like at Fall Fest he had some great placings, some great wins as well. But that was the first time that I actually got to see ApolloKage feeling like super confident at this high level, and he's broken into the upper echelon of Ultimate play. At this point,
Summit,
I want to see where he goes.
Like Summit, that real big breakout event, like everybody's like, whoa, we already knew he was good, but like beating MK Leo and company good.
Correct.
Yeah, he's always had it. It's just keeping that mental. When you're fighting up against like 80+ character matchups all the time, it's one thing. When you're fighting this many talented caliber players all the time, this is one of the hardest games to remain consistently good at. It's not one of the hardest games to get into, but being a professional level player or a high level player period for long spans of time, it taxes you. And that happens to everyone. So again, if you need a break, don't be afraid to take a break. Don't be afraid to take a pause, because don't make it a job. Remember that you still need to love what you do, because if you start not having fun, you're already losing out on a big part of why you probably started doing it in the first place.
Yeah, a lot of people come back for the community, and there's more to it than just the game itself, right? You might love the game to death, but everyone's got to take a break sometime. You got to do something else, right? Get a mental refresh.